This is a great day to be in beautiful Charles Young Park, right? We have some special guests with us tonight. First, I want to recognize, or this afternoon, it's not yet, I want to recognize our council members. We have Councilmember James Brown, who will speak in a moment. And we have Councilmember Hannah Legree, Councilmember Whitney Baxter, Councilmember Amanda Mays Bledsoe. Any other council members that I've missed? We have Representative George Brown over here. Thank you for joining us. And we have at least two of my commissioners. My Commissioner of General Services, Chris Ford, is here. Where are you? There you are, Chris. And we have Commissioner Casey Allen Bryant, Social Services, over here. Any other commissioners? We have several folks with us. So we also have the chair of the Charles Young Center Advisory Board, whom many of you know, Charles Fields. Welcome. You're the only one that got an applause, Charles. We have Monica Conrad, our Director of Parks and Recreation, and many of her staff are here. And I want to give a special welcome to the Colonel kids. Here they are. So Monica is going to introduce you in a few minutes, but these kids have played a really special role in this playground. They helped us design it and choose the equipment. How great is that? Yes. And speaking of the equipment, I want to give some special thanks. First, Lacey and Benjamin Gonzalez. Where are you? There you are. Daryl Gregory, John Williams, Wes Allen. There's Wes. All from the Kiwanis Club of Lexington. Yes. And I have a feeling there are more of you. Let's see. Wes, your daughter Hannah's here. There she is. She's one of our artists in residence. We have Joel Schneider. Where are you? There. We didn't forget you. Dorothy and Harry Van Epps. Where are you? Excuse me, Epps, not Van Epps. Van Epps. Okay, we got it. And the Kiwanis gave us Lexington's first globe-shaped spinning climber. Now, I know to all the kids that sounds like great fun. I'm not sure about the adults. We'll have to try it out, right? So it's also my pleasure to introduce Jared Curry. Jared, there you are. And Mark Gutcher from Vulcan Materials Company, outstanding corporate citizens. Vulcan provided a natural edge of natural limestone for this playground. Thank you very much. This is such an exciting day for Charles Young Park. The park now has a new playground, and it's one of the biggest in our city, roughly twice the size of the 18-year-old playground it replaces. As I said, members of the Colonel Club, children who live in the East End neighborhood, chose the playground equipment. They asked for equipment that allowed them to play with friends and equipment that was accessible to everyone. So that's what we have. It's a playground designed for children of all ages and all abilities. In addition to the spinning climber, the playground features Lexington's first turf slide, face-to-face tandem swings, and multi-user saucer swing. So you're going to have to really tour around to see all this. This playground is one of several changes we've made to improve Charles Young Park. Outdoor basketball courts have already been refurbished. And next will come Splash, a water play feature. In addition, Town Branch Commons Trail will soon run right alongside the park on Midland Avenue, right out there, making it easy to walk or cycle to this park. Charles Young Center is also home to some new activity, hosting Work Lexington, the city's new workforce resource center. We're bringing new life to Charles Young Park and expanding services at the community center. I think Charles Young would really approve of all these wonderful changes. So now at this time, I'd like to ask Councilmember James Brown to join me, come to the podium, and he has a few words for you. Councilmember Brown.
Good morning, and thank you all for being here today. But before I begin, I'd like to give another round of applause to our Parks and Recreation staff, all the contributors, and then the contractor for building such a beautiful playground. Yeah. And then I'd also like to recognize my fellow council members again for being here with me, Councilmember Legree, Councilmember Baxter, and then Councilmember Bledsoe. And it feels like we were just here a few weeks ago doing the groundbreaking. And I mean, now we have a finished product before us. It's truly amazing. And there's one person that's not here with us today who I think is one of the most important catalysts to making sure that the city is held accountable. We keep investing in Charles Young Park and the community center. And that's the late, great Carl White. Carl White was a veteran, a community leader, and was a constant advocate for this community center and this park. And I remember coming to a neighborhood meeting one day after we had built a playground somewhere else in the district. He had this kind of smirk on his face, and he was just staring at me intently. And then all of a sudden, he just said, "When are we going to get a playground?" And after some conversation at City Hall and some continued advocacy, now we have it. So I think he would be proud, and I think he's looking down on us today and smiling that smile that he had. This project embodies what I think is really important when you continue to invest money and initiatives in an area that is sensitive to change, and change is all around it. You really have to be intentional, and you'll hear me say this a lot, and focused about how you engage the neighbors in the neighborhood. And I give kudos, huge kudos to our Parks and Recreation Department about their intentional efforts with doing that with this project and other projects in this neighborhood. They reached out, they engaged the advisory board, other community stakeholders, students from William Wells Brown School that are neighbors and families that live in this community, actually engaged them, asked for their input, feedback, listened, and implemented it in this playground that we have today. And we all know from the events of last year and that we're still in, that there's a big concern and an importance to outdoor and park amenities. I heard someone say that parks are the living rooms of a community. And if that's true, to have the best experience and to actually be welcome to that park and into that living room, you need to go to the front door. And the front door to this park and into this neighborhood or to this community is through that neighborhood. And I think our city Park and Recreation Department was intentional about knocking on the front door, listening, being invited in, and we're going to have a good experience in this playground in the future of this park. So thanks to everybody that was involved with making this playground possible. I don't want to name names because I don't want to forget anybody. And thank you all for being here today as we cut the ribbon and let these kids have a good time on this playground. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you so much, James. Next, we're going to hear from Charles Fields, chair of the Charles Young Center Advisory Board. And your board has been a huge partner in the good things that are going on here. So welcome to the park, to the podium.
Good afternoon. Excuse me. I think today typifies what effort, commitment, and concern mean in a community. I look back at this building. It wasn't too long ago it was closed, as quite a few all remember. You don't take a situation and look at it and think you've achieved, you work to grow it. And the one thing I said when we first started is I looked at the program at Brother White years ago. Your children are your future, but you need to act like they're your future. You don't look at them and talk about it, you act like they're your future. You invest in them, you put them in a position where they can succeed. But you don't put them in a position where they got just enough to say they enjoyed it. You want them to feel enthused so they're part of something. I think we can all look around right now and see that we don't quite have everything ideal in that level of achievement yet, but we're working on it. But today I look at this park and I see three things. One, I see growth. These young people back here are the ones we need to really look at. Like me and several of us, we've had our day. God's blessed us to be here, but it's time to look back and look at what our future is. This is our future. Now, how we handle our future is up to us. They are not going to be able to guide us. We're supposed to guide them in counsel. You do that by providing a nutriment of support and social control. But what I think more than anything today is important, we remember that the things that are important, we need to focus on them and we need to stay the task. Don't sit here and talk about how nice we look. How much better can we make it? Children are evolving into areas that we don't always care for. So maybe it's up to us to start changing that path and help them evolve into citizens that we can be proud of. And right now, I'm extremely proud of watching this gathering here today. You all made it really a good feel for me. I've been involved with children for over 40 years. And I know one thing, it's a blessing when you look back and see the achievement. But this park means a lot. And the fact that we all stand here today tells me something. We must have something on our mind. Maybe we need to put it into action. Let's get busy and make it grow. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Charles. You know, he mentioned the time that the center was closed, and I would be remiss if I did not recognize again Commissioner Chris Ford, who at that time was Councilmember Chris Ford. And Councilmember Chris Ford led the task force that re-envisioned the Charles Young Center. And from that report and that work, this has all evolved. He worked with the community and has really brought us forward in that. And I want to thank you again for that. So finally today, we're going to hear from Monica Conrad, our Director of Parks and Recreation. And Monica is overseeing the investments we are making in all of our parks all over Lexington. And the magnitude of this is, I think, a little over 4,000 acres of park land in our community. So let's welcome Monica.
Thank you, Mayor. Over 4,000 acres of parkland, over 100 parks in our community that our team with Lexington Parks and Recreation takes care of. You've heard several of those partners that we could not have been successful in this project without the Charles Young Advisory Board, the William Wells Brown Neighborhood Association, and the youth from William Wells Brown Elementary. Director of William Wells Brown Community Center, Jill Chenault Wilson, was integral in pulling together the Colonel Club. She, along with Principal Ebony Hutchinson, Assistant Principal Alex Butler, and Melody Westerfield, Family and Community Coordinator, helped bring our Colonel Club students here today. So they're normally in class today, but they got to come out and come to our event. So very excited about them. As you've heard, these students helped with assisting in designing and choosing all of the equipment for our playground. Before I recognize each of them individually, I do want to give a shout out to our Parks Advisory Board members here today, Christian Adair, as well as our entire Parks and Recreation team. They work to create imaginative spaces, they maintain them, and they organize these events to celebrate them. Today, many of them are here with their kids and family members, and I just really cannot thank them enough for how they pull these investments together and make them shine on their opening day. So now I would like to introduce to you the Colonel Club from William Wells Brown. And let's see. We have Micaiah Lincoln right here. Malaya Lincoln. Gavin Lincoln. Angelique White. Whitney White. Lily Thompson. Monolito White. Virginia Haynes. Vic Mondano. Jackie Mondano. And Josh Riggs. These are the future leaders of our community, and we're so excited that they could be with us today and be involved in this really monumental process for us. So thank you.
That's great. Thank you. Thank you so much, Monica. Well, we are bringing new life to Charles Young Park and expanding services at the community center. And so now it's time to cut the ribbon. Let's cut it. Everybody ready? Everybody ready? Ready. All right, I'm going to count, and on the count of 3, cut. Okay? 1, 2, 3. Hold it up. Hold it up.